4:30 on a Tuesday. Come to Birmingham, talk about Omnichannel software, they said. So my colleagues have got a bet with me. They said, I've got to pay them a tenner for every person that leaves in my section. So you two at the back, you've taken my children's shoes. Sit yourself down. So, no, in all seriousness, obviously a lot of people have been saying, my slot is all that stands between you and beers and wine and canapes and stuff. Genuinely, this slot does stand between you, beer, wine and canapes. 327 slides, 2 videos, Q&A session. So, no, but on a serious note, thanks for spending the time to keep here for the day. And for me, it's been really insightful. And for us, a great opportunity. We've been involved with the CXPA and Ian for 2 or 3 years now. We're at the inaugural meetup, the sort of big CXP event in London. I think it was 2 years ago now, maybe last year actually, wasn't it, Ian? So on CXPA Day, so we were there with Natilic. So great to be back. And I'm proud to run Upstream Works. Upstream Works in EMEAR is a relatively new organisation, but we provide essentially software that connects all of those moments and journeys and systems. I actually have a little video to play so that it doesn't allow me to ramble on too long.
Meet Upstream Works. Upstream Works is a customer engagement workspace. So what does that mean? Well, it's software that helps businesses like yours talk to customers. Meaningful, personalized conversations that earn customer loyalty and repeat business. So who's having these conversations? Agents. Agents are your brand advocates and hold the key to customer success. Upstream Works empowers agents with one simple tool. Customers with convenience and choice. Business with insights and reports. It connects moments along the customer journey. People across any channel. Information from any system. It delivers conversations, personalized and informed. Context, real-time and historical. Intelligence, resolve issues before they arise. Our solutions are designed with agents in mind. It's the customer engagement workspace powering agent success. Upstream Works is a conversation game changer, connecting agents, customers, and everything in between. It redefines customer engagement in so many ways, but most importantly, it just works. Empowered agents, loyal customers, better business. Upstream Works.
So that sounds so much more interesting than how I try and explain it around as being a complex software platform that integrates multiple platforms and provides a platform to develop on. So that really starts to sum up the things we're trying to achieve more than what we actually physically do. So I'm going to try and spend less than 5 minutes on each of these sections today. So talk a little bit about convenience of the customer, then move on. This is in our DNA, this piece around agent empowerment, because for us, that's really where everything, the magic happens, is that interface between the agent and your customer. How we optimize resources and make the most of resources, how we allow you to provide brand consistency, and then if you are interested and haven't fallen asleep at that stage, how you can move on with us and look at next steps. So if I put myself in the position of a consumer, I start to look at these things. I really want these things. So from my point of view, I actually want choice. And when we talk about choice, I'm talking about if I want to have a Facebook chat with somebody, then I have a Facebook chat with them. If I want to email in about the Facebook chat I had and then make a phone call, then that's what I should be able to do. And if we inwardly look, how many brands can actually allow their customers to achieve that element of choice? When we then start to look at choice, we then look at the continuous nature of those choices you've made. So again, what we try and allow organizations to do is not just allow people to choose the channel they want to interact on. We want them to essentially have those choices blended into a continuous experience. So a real life example of that is, as a consumer, I may actually start off in the morning at home, and I send a Facebook message into an organisation. But then I jump in the car. I can't then continue that conversation. So I'm in a position where I've sent in a request for service of some sort, and essentially that's on one channel, something like Facebook. I then maybe turn up at work and Facebook isn't convenient for me anymore. In some instances, Facebook is blocked on the corporate network, so I can't get on Facebook. I still want to continue that conversation, that request for service. So I might switch to something like text-based conversation. Our software actually allows you to start merging those different text-based channels into one unified conversation. So from a point of view of a customer service advisor, they're not jumping between lots of different point solutions. They're essentially allowing conversation to happen in a continuous manner, regardless of the media the customer has chosen to interact on. Then that almost moves into this feeling of consistency. So regardless of the media that I choose, phone, text-based, knowledge, self-serve, on the web, etc., that should feel consistent. I'm sure a lot of you that are involved in large brands, that consistency of what it feels like to actually deal with your brand is really important to you. So we provide the ability to be super consistent based on continuous conversations and choices that your customers have made. And then we get to the point where we want to personalize things. So how do we allow you to personalize the continuous experiences that should be consistent that a customer has chosen to have with you? So it's really ensuring that people feel like you're dealing with them one-on-one rather than just a function. And then it should feel low effort. This shouldn't be something that feels something like I'm trying to put together with the agent, maybe over the phone. I sometimes sum it up to say some organisations almost feels like a joint effort between the agent and the customer. And they're almost putting a jigsaw puzzle together over the phone in the dark with both hands tied behind the back. So, quite often it feels really stressful dealing with organisations because the effort to deal with them is so high. And all of this is really aiming to provide a super fast resolution to the issues that you may be having. So I've talked about all of those things in relation to being a consumer, but if you put yourself in an agent's shoes, these things also are really prevalent as well, because an agent, we sit here in nice offices eating sandwiches from a nice buffet. Our agents, the people who are working in our organisations, they're doing the same task 100, 150 times a day, trying to use those different systems that they're clicking between and trying to put information together. So this actually applies to agents as much as it does customers. So moving on to that one theme, I said agent empowerment is in our DNA. We genuinely believe that. So our CEO, a guy called Rob McDougall, he spent 20 years in this industry, and he is obsessed with ensuring that agents have the right tools to use in the least stressful way possible, because, again, his mind looks in at the agent doing the same thing 150 times a day with an angry customer on the end of the phone. They're trying to piece things together from, well, in our experience, I think the record so far is 32 different systems. So you imagine if you're an agent, not the highest paid profession in the world, and you are trying to piece together information, and you've got an angry customer on the end of the phone with 32 different systems. So our job really is to really empower those guys. And they have to be empowered now because customers are empowered. Customers, by the time they get through to an agent, typically know far more than the typical agent does because there's so many research tools available. So we really like to provide the agent with this one workspace so that they essentially have one place to go to provide the interaction management, full visibility of what's happened so far. So the entire journey from web to IVR to other voice, both real-time and historic, and then loads of productivity tools. We've heard from Cisco today about that internal productivity and collaboration being really key, because now there's so many organisations that rely on multiple people within an organisation to get answers quickly. We then start to really get people to think about some of these themes. So I mentioned that team collaboration. So often now, it's almost impossible to get one person that knows everything. So But as a consumer, I don't want to be dealing with multiple people. So how do I empower one person to have all of the answers, even if a lot of the answers are actually in someone else's head? So providing great tools for team collaboration. How do I ensure that I can onboard people super quickly and actually get them to a point of competency in the shortest possible time? You know, they basically say it's crazy. You join a lot of organizations and you spend an hour talking about the values of that company and the products they sell and what they stand for in the world. Then you spend 3 weeks trying to learn how the systems work. You know, that should be the other way around. You should spend half an hour figuring out how the systems work because they're really intuitive, and then you spend, you know, an inordinate amount of time looking at the value that you're trying to derive for your customers. And then on the far right-hand side, you know, super important that we have the ability to report on all of this to a really granular level, have insights that allow us to make constant positive change within the organisation. So we always run these 3 themes and want to talk to people about how they're doing in each of those. We then start to look at some of the things that you're going to want to consider are, a lot of organisations want to build things themselves. We try and say to organisations, try and standardise on something a bit more off the shelf rather than what we call science projects. We try and look at how we streamline processes so that an agent doesn't see this plethora of systems in the background, and we integrate everything into a single point. And we also want to keep an eye on what happens in the future. You know, now it's very common for contact centres to be dealing with Facebook, WhatsApp, different channels. Quite frankly, 5 years ago, WhatsApp was hardly a thing. You know, it was text messaging. So who knows what's going to happen in 5 years' time? Is the strategy you have for your platforms, are they open enough to provide innovation? We then start getting into those areas of socialisation. So how are you providing care from a social point of view to allow your customers to say great things about you in different forms of social media and be super responsive? Organisations always have lots of what we call line of business CRM systems. We want to provide good insights into those systems. And we also want to try and start looking at how you can expand your customer base and provide different opportunities for revenue. How can we help change and innovate business models through the deployment of our solutions? So some of these have already gone through. In summary, before I show you some stuff in action. So we want to give people choice around channel. We want to try and contain people where possible on low-cost channels like web. We want to provide the ability to automate certain functions. We've heard a lot about chatbot capability in AI today, but I think the importance there is how does that then seamlessly interact with humans? How do we provide this great source of knowledge? Journey visibility, collaboration tools, the social customer care element, which is really pervasive at the moment, and then provide some rich insights. So I've got a short video, and this is actually a utility company. This is an example, a vertical that everybody can understand, just to show almost what we feel a half-decent customer journey actually looks like. It's only about 90 seconds.
Today's Upstream Works in Action video focuses on the customer experience within utilities. Meet Shelley. Shelley's been noticing some power flickers in her home. Her service is with UW Power and Gas, so she heads to their website. She sees the option to chat and decides to give it a try. Shelley's request is submitted and assigned to a chatbot, Jane. Meet Jane. Jane helps improve the efficiency of first-level service by answering frequently asked questions and other routine requests. She is able to have a conversation with the customer and then send the transcript of that conversation to a live agent if escalation is needed. Jane helps agents be more effective and ensures a seamless and efficient customer experience. From the customer perspective, it's just like talking to a live agent. When Shelley asks for a field service appointment, The chatbot engages a live agent who uses UWF to preview Shelley's interaction with the bot and to instantly handle the appointment request. Meet Martha. Martha has everything she needs at her fingertips to help Shelley. She has the full context of Shelley's interaction with the bot, as well as her entire interaction history with UW Power and Gas. Martha can review the transcript, see the knowledge article provided to Shelley, and also do a quick check of her own view of the Assist knowledge base so that she can streamline the process of addressing Shelley's concern. She can use her mouse to highlight any phrase from the chat, and Assist locates the best article on that topic. While she's there, Martha pins an article to her favorites for quick reference later. She's ready to assist Shelley. With one click, Martha initiates screen pop automation to view Shelley's account information in their integrated customer care system, so she can act on Shelley's request for a field service appointment. Martha initiates a second screen pop with Shelley's account information into the scheduling application. She finds an available technician in the area and confirms the appointment. Martha uses contact reason and reason detail codes in the UWF interaction area to capture the reason for the interaction with Shelley and a notes area to capture additional comments. Within UWF's interaction activity, Martha can view all her interactions, including the one she's had with Shelley today. Shelley's entire journey is available, including her initial chat with Jane, the chatbot. By providing a continuous and seamless view of the full customer journey, this utility company has an accurate and complete understanding of Shelley's experience with UW Power and Gas. Upstream Works is changing how businesses talk to customers, connecting their agents, customers, and applications for an effortless customer journey and a transformed customer experience. Learn more at upstreamworks.com.
I'm not sure that music was loud enough, but never mind. There we saw, a relatively simple interaction, but quite often in utility companies specifically, which is quite a hot vertical sector for us, we've come across loads of challenges where those guys are dealing with so many different systems. So in utilities, we always try and take away the complexity of all of those multiple systems in the back end and push everything into something more usable, like the desktop you actually see in front of you here. So just to give you a little bit of orientation, almost think of all of the channels that you may be using at the moment down the right-hand side. Think about all of the various departments that you actually have within your organization, all of the legacy that you have over the far side of the screen there, and we essentially bring all of that together in one place. Why is that important? Quite often when people try and do these big CRM projects, it's exceptionally expensive, these big integration science projects, which you never seem to get to the end of. They never seem to deliver the value which you first set out to achieve from them. Organizations, especially large organizations, burn through a heck of a lot of cash to try and get to that point where we take away that complexity, and we've got some toolkits that make it super easy to actually integrate those legacy systems, even nasty looking ones, into a usable sort of web-based front end. And then very briefly orientating you to try and get to a point where, from an agent's point of view, they can see at the top of the screen, I can see the last interaction was 7 days ago. In the last 7 days, there's been 2 contacts, 2 interactions, 2 are actually in progress. And when we sit with organizations and say, just imagine if your agents can actually see what's in progress at the moment across any media, live and almost live and non-live media, and what's happened in the past, and all of that can just be at a click of a button without doing tons of CRM development. They're pretty interesting. So we try and make the complex really simple with a single desktop. So I hope that video also paints a little picture as well for you. The other question that I'm always asked is, how do you get funding for these projects? Because I'm sure some of you, you battle against we've got some of these amazing ideas, and I see all of the LinkedIn posts about you guys all doing your journey mapping and how you can improve these things. and you start to look at the technology platform that you need to make that reality, and suddenly that's where things fall apart a little, because it's then quite hard to monetize the benefits that changing and evolving this CX journey are actually going to achieve for you. So we've got a program called the Business Impact Assessment Program, which all of you are willing to, you can all participate in. And what that actually does is it looks at 4 key areas. It looks at how the project is going to actually allow agents to be more successful. It's going to monetize and allow you to measure the additional experiences, so the positive experiences you're going to be able to provide to your customers and what that means in monetary terms. It's going to show IT how they can optimize the technology stack and rationalize that they have in place, again, creating some huge savings. And it's also going to show where business efficiencies can be gained from connecting these disparate systems and providing a better approach to adopting new channels. And from our point of view, this program has seen some huge uptakes from some of our large customers, and really starts to monetize a benefit in huge amounts of detail that you can take into a board to actually start to say, this is why we should do these things. Not because we think it's a great idea or we've got fixation on evolving customer journeys. This is the hard monetary benefit to our business of actually deploying this type of solution. So anybody who's interested in taking that a little further, then please reach out to us. So from our point of view, that's it. Beers and wine and canapes now. If you want to see a little more of Upstream Works, then top of the slide there. We'd love to run some personal demos, not today, because the M6 is busy. But we'd book a slot for you, and we'd love to come in and do some of that business impact assessment work with you to try and monetize those benefits. That's me. Thank you very much.